about preseason games. Oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants. So Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Why couldn't you guys get it rolling in the first half?
We need to execute better. A lot of things, I feel we just got to put points on the board, man. Our defense playing lights out for the last few weeks. Played good in Miami, but the last few weeks I feel like we need to put more points on the board and execute drives.
Does it get frustrating to see what the defense has done from the start they have, especially the last 5 or 6 games, and then special teams as well, to not get that complete dominant team win from your side of the ball?
Yeah, a little bit, because, it's our job. I'm an offensive guy. I'm not playing defense. It's great to see our defense playing great, but it'll also feel great and look great when we playing as well, to match their energy. And we just need to do that, week in, week out, because those guys stepping up. We need to do the same thing.
Lamar, has there been a game yet since you've come back from injury where you kind of feel like, okay, I'm fully myself, I'm fully healthy, I'm fully ready to compete the way, we've seen you compete over the last few years?
I can't call it, but I'm out there, so I feel like I should still be able to do what I do.
How much did the ankle bother you at all today? I mean, I know it was obviously taped up a good bit, but did it hinder you at all?
No, it was pretty solid, for the most part. It was pretty solid.
So, Lamar, do you feel injuries are holding you back or holding this offense back in a way because you're not able to?
No, I don't think that at all. I feel like we just need to execute, a lot better. We get in great field position, but we're not putting points on the board, that have nothing to do with no injury. We just need to put points on the board right there.
When you
so
guys...
there you have it. That's Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Remember, the Ravens won yesterday. They won. It was a joyous day. They didn't cover, those sons of bitches.
Nobody covered this weekend.
Got a lot of things to say about the Chiefs' failure to cover. Had the ball on, the 3-yard line at the end of regulation. All you got to do, punch it in. You're going to win by 4. You get yourself a nice cover. Bump his ass, sons of bitches.
Who was that?
It was terrible. It's my Darren McGavin, but it's no good. Got a lot of thoughts. About it. But, yeah, the Ravens won. They did. That happened. That occurred. They won 23-10. They went 2 for 5 again in the red zone. So, I know, it doesn't even feel that way, does it? Right?
Were they in the red zone 5 times?
It doesn't even feel.
Okay, well, the very end of the game, obviously.
Oh,
where they, went 4-on-4, or no, they kicked the field.
No, they were going to go for it on 4th down.
Which they should. I don't know.
They still had a chance to cover. Still had a chance to cover.
Did they? I'm so confused. What was the plan? It doesn't even matter.
Why do you care?
Well, because I wanted them to cover.
Well, yeah, sure. We all wanted them to cover.
A third Derrick Henry touchdown would have been cool, too, for my fantasy team.
No, that's not my concern. I don't care who scores as long as someone scores. By the way, today is going to be quite the challenge for the program because Towson basketball is playing at the same time.
I was about calling out today.
Yeah, and so Griffin might not.
We got a national TV game here.
Might not be engaged with the program whatsoever. They're playing the 11 a.m. game. Didn't they used to play this event at the Milk House in Orlando?
Standalone game here.
Why'd they move it to Kissimmee? I don't know what that's all about. Anyway,
cheap.
Yeah, the Ravens won. But if you watched or listened to the Project Game Day postgame show yesterday, you certainly didn't feel that way because that's not the way that anybody's feeling. Thanks to all of you that came to join us for Project Game Day. We do it every game day all season long. We will be, quick turnaround this week. We'll be back with you. We're spending our holiday together. Thanksgiving night. Come hang out with myself, Rita, KZ, Stecca, Griffin, and, of course, former Ravens linebacker Tyus Bowser. Tyus is like, yeah, I'm getting together with all the family, but, we're going to watch the game anyway. I got you. It's my guy. Love him. It's all brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia, as well as 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org, the Costas Inn Live Casino and Hotel. We will see you on Thursday night, late night, for Project Game Day, PressBoxOnline.com/GameDay. My column is up at PressBoxOnline.com today. To me, the reality is the biggest storyline. I know that we're obsessed with the offensive line. And look, man, I want the offensive line to be better. I just don't think it's going to be. I just think this is the reality of what the offensive line is. And ultimately, that might doom the Ravens. What I know is the case, with certain, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure is the case, is that the Ravens absolutely cannot win a Super Bowl with the combination of the offensive line playing the way they are and Lamar Jackson appearing as limited as he appears. And it's a complicated question because what I'm not saying is Lamar Jackson stinks. He hasn't been very good the last 2 weeks. We have to be willing to say that. We can't be so fearful of the dumbest people that have said the dumbest things about Lamar Jackson that we lose the ability to speak honestly about what's going on. Lamar Jackson has not played well for the last 2 weeks. He's been pedestrian. He hasn't made, miserable mistakes. I know he had 2 interceptions against the Browns, but both were a little goofy. He's been meh for the last 2 weeks. And the question is, why has he been meh? And without a doubt, to me, the offensive line has been a part of the reason why he's been meh for the last 2 weeks. But not the totality of it. And if you go to my column today at PressBoxOnline.com, I do pull up that 3rd and 3 play from the first half on the second drive. That 3rd and 3 is the one to me that, the 1st and 10 where he danced on the right on the first drive of the game, where he danced on the right and was being spied by Isaiah Oliver and decided to completely decelerate, wait there, and then 3 seconds later reaccelerate and just took the 6 yards that he could get before going out of bounds. That one to me was an obvious, this isn't Lamar Jackson. You're telling me you got Lamar Jackson one-on-one on the outside? That, to me, as we talked about the night of the Lions game, that, to me, is what you – if you get that, then your play has succeeded. But he didn't take it. Okay, well, that was first down. And, all good. He ended up running, ultimately, when it's all said and done. Maybe he wasn't going to get a lot more than the 6 yards he got. Maybe he wasn't going to get a first down in that situation. Of course, the Ravens – didn't end up getting a first down from that spot. They were 2nd and 4, and they couldn't turn it into a conversion. But it was still a positive offensive play. But the 3rd and 3 is the one that I can't shake. Were you here, pull up my column today at PressBoxOnline.com, because I did pull a still that it's just screaming at me about why it's pretty clear Lamar Jackson isn't right, but I understand it's also a complicated conversation. Right there. And, that one. No.
I know.
Yeah, that one. What?
I didn't know if if I could find the full play or something.
Oh, I mean, you could find the full play perhaps, but share that because it's that image is the one that stands out the most. This is a play where if Ben Roethlisberger were my quarterback, I would want him taking off and getting the first down. It's there. It's right there to his right. 3rd and 3. Now,
how about that O-line protection?
In fairness, right? And this is what I tried saying. I do think the offensive line is a massive problem. I feel that way. But look at that. There's something going on with Lamar. And it does go back to, we had the conversations a year ago. We talked last year about how Lamar very clearly was trying to stop running as much. But this is even more absurd at this point. The numbers, last year Lamar Jackson had his fewest rushing attempts per game of his career at 8.2. You know where he's at this year?
Probably less than 5.
No, 5.7.
Okay.
2.5 rushing attempts per game fewer than his career low. Half of what it was when he ran the ball. And again, a lot of people have opinions about this subject that they think are fact-based, or they think that we're crazy when we say Lamar needs to run more, which is bull S. And I've said it a million times. You think that you know that Lamar Jackson is at greater risk of injury when we have overwhelming data, that shows that running quarterbacks are at no greater risk of injury than traditional pocket passers. The data is overwhelming on the topic. It's just some dumb S that we've said for years, and so we think it's factual. So we get very personal about this. Oh, you just want Lamar Jackson out there risking himself and risking his... No, he's doing that. That's what football is. Football is risk. Standing in the pocket is a risk. Ask Joe Theismann, or ask the earlier injuries that Lamar Jackson had in his career. Yes, I want Lamar Jackson to run more, but this is a different conversation than just that. This now appears to be like a serious limitation, because this is not taking off in obvious spots to just go get the first down. And on that 3rd and 3 play, he damn near made a miracle out of it and came up with Isaiah Likely down the field. It was a low percentage play, but it almost worked out. But you traded off that image that you saw for a low percentage deep ball to Isaiah Likely. Something is going on. Now, Lamar Jackson is not going to tell you that. I'm not even angry that after the game he's dismissive of it, because if Lamar Jackson is clearly limited, he doesn't want to announce that to the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, you know what, guys?
It's really my left leg.
Yeah,
my left
right.
knee is what's really killing me.
I'm not really a threat to run, so don't bother. Like, don't even worry about it. Just go ahead. Only prepare for the passing version of Lamar Jackson on Thursday, because I can't do it running the ball. He's not going to do that, and I'm not mad at him. I don't blame him for that. That's what he's going to say. Is there some amount that still makes me wonder what the line is between, how much of this is about injuries versus how much of it is about, his desired style at this point in his career? Of course I'm going to wonder about that. We've been wondering about it for 2 seasons now. But the absurdity of that screams to me that it's got to be health related. And of course, the facts that we have, that he's not practicing on Wednesdays and maybe won't practice on Wednesdays moving forward, although this week's a weird week, so it's hard to judge anything by this week.
Did he take any big... I mean, he got hit, obviously, yesterday, but,
Yeah, more. I don't remember any more big hits. And this was the second drive of the game.
Yeah.
The second possession of the game. There's something going on, man.
But I feel like at least over the last couple of weeks, we can at least circle, there was that roughing the passer against the Vikings. And obviously one of Myles Garrett sacked him 4 times, but there was specifically one of them where he got kind of whipped down to the ground. So, maybe if he avoided any massive hits yesterday, then that could just help a little bit in him trying to get back to normal. I don't know. I don't know. And maybe is it psychological, too? He's like, I didn't, does he think he doesn't have the burst right now, and that's why he doesn't want to.
And maybe he doesn't have the burst.
Yeah, and he has. He's been getting tripped up.
And I know,
Rita
brought it up yesterday. Is it a possibility that we're just getting to a point? I don't know. He didn't look that way. The first couple games of the season, he didn't look like someone. This feels more like it's specific injury related than it's just all of a sudden Lamar Jackson, and John Little Rock brings it up, and did he just wake up and all of a sudden he wasn't Lamar Jackson anymore one day? I don't know. But again, there's a difference between maybe he's not ever going to be 22-year-old Lamar Jackson again. That's possible. There's a difference between that and, again, look at that screenshot on 3rd and 3. And tell me What is going on here? And I'm not – if Lamar Jackson wants to be a player who just throws the ball and doesn't run the ball anymore, if that's who he wants to be, that's something the Ravens are going to have to figure out because they're going to pay him a whole heck of a lot of money. And that Lamar Jackson's an incredible thrower of the football. And so they can probably craft an offense that makes a whole heck of a lot of sense for that, but it's a different type of offense. And then I'd add to it, this year, I don't think they're going to be good enough to do that. I don't think they can win a Super Bowl without that superhero version of Lamar Jackson. And it's a fine line because to some people, this is the era of GOAT versus trash, right? It's the era where we lose nuance, we lose the ability to actually understand what's being said. What I'm not saying is I think this is Lamar Jackson's fault or I don't think Lamar Jackson's good. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think this team needs a superhero version of Lamar Jackson in order to win a Super Bowl, and we're not seeing that, whether that's because of injury or, again, his skittishness about the offensive line in front of him. Whatever it is, we're not seeing that. And I think it's been good enough to win during this stretch of 5 games that's been against lesser competition when you've gone up against the likes of, J.J. McCarthy and Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, who did look good for stretches yesterday, and Tyrod Taylor. I don't think, and I'm not, believe it or not, I can't see the future, but I don't think you can win a Super Bowl this way. That's the context. I want to discuss it further with someone whose opinion I respect a great deal. Of course, you know him from the We Bleed Purple podcast. He is one of my favorite human beings, and he is, of course, a former Baltimore Ravens tight end. He's the great Dan Wilcox, and he is back with us now here on GCR. Dan, it's Glenn. Happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. Appreciate you taking the time for us as always, sir.
Glenn, thanks for having me on, my brother. Man, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family too as well, man. I'm excited to be on the show.
Thank you, man. Dan, what are you seeing in Lamar Jackson right now? Because it's very difficult for me. I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that I think Lamar Jackson stinks, but I think we know that he doesn't look like Lamar Jackson. Does he look like someone who's just playing through immense injuries and it's limiting him? How do you describe what you've seen from Lamar the last couple of weeks?
I honestly believe watching Lamar play as of lately that he's nursing an injury, and while he's nursing that injury, he's doing everything he can to protect himself. And it just looks like he just won't go into 3rd and 4th gear. Mm-hmm. So from watching him play, he's been very patient. He's been very poised. He's taking his time. He's taking more sacks than he normally would, but he's not trying to leave the pocket. And if I play devil advocate here, if you really think about this, I mean, he could be doing the Kobe Bryant, the Michael Jordan thing. I'm a little banged up. I'm a little beat up right now. I'm going to get all my teammates involved and build up their morale, build them up, let them know that we need them to do this thing. And when it's time for me to take over, I can take over.
I'll go
at
put
any
the cape
point,
on.
any given point.
I think, I love that theory, Dan. I guess my concern would be, right, like these last couple of games have been awfully close, right? Like there's no guarantee that you were going to win these games and get into the playoffs. Like I just don't know if the Ravens have had the luxury for him to be able to say, hey, this is what I've got right now. I'll flip the switch when we get to the postseason.
Well, that's the thing, Glenn. I don't know if Lamar has to flip a switch. I mean, He is Lamar Jackson. I mean, we all know who he is, and the media has been his biggest freaking kryptonite since he started playing ball. I mean, the media has hated Lamar. They have not given him the props that he deserved. They tell him he should change his position, like he's not a real quarterback. He won a Heisman at quarterback, but he still ain't a quarterback. He threw for way more yards, double, triple more yards than he ran for. They still were trying to change his position, because he's Lamar Jackson, I guess. I don't really know. He's rough around the edges. He wears gold teeth. He got diamonds in his mouth.
Right.
He's all of everything that Florida is. So to me, what you're seeing right now is him just being just a pocket passer and nothing else. And he's not trying to run the ball. He's not trying to be electric. He's not trying to take over the games. He's allowing them to just play football and figure it out on their own. When the time comes, he'll be the Lamar I think that we all need. At the same time, I do think he's nursing some sort of injury. I can't tell what it is, Glenn, because I've studied his body. I've looked at him over and over and over and over again in uniform. I don't see him having his groin wrapped up, his hip wrapped up, his hamstring wrapped up, his knee, nothing. I don't see a brace anywhere. So it doesn't look like visually that he's hurt. The visual part that we're getting is just us not thinking he's playing like the Lamar that we think he should. You know, to me, I really don't care as long as we win games. And
that part,
think about the first, yeah, I mean, think about the Ravens' first Super Bowl. We had, Dilfer?
That's true. That's correct.
Yeah. Hell, he was just a game manager. That was it. Nothing else, nothing special. He did not turn the ball over, and we just played great freaking defense. And here we are talking about one of the best quarterbacks in the world, and we don't think we could win just by playing great defense and not turning the ball over. So, I mean, shit, take it how you want to take it, Glenn. I mean, we living right in the middle of it right now.
Dan, let me phrase it this way because I'm going to talk about some other things with you. If it is injury, right, like to your point, and maybe it's not one specific, it's totality, it's whatever it is. If it's injury and Lamar can't get to that gear in the coming weeks, is this team good enough to win a Super Bowl with, you know, whatever we want to call it, 70%, 80%, 85%, whatever that number is, of Lamar Jackson?
We've been good enough for the last 2-3 years, I think, to win the Super Bowl. And we're better now personnel-wise than we have been on all those years, except at the guard position.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You know? Yeah, so in my mind, when this season started off, I thought we was going undefeated, Glenn. So this is the same exact team that I thought was going to go undefeated this year, and we started off 1-5. So I'm 100% sold that we can still make it to the Super Bowl and we can still win a Super Bowl. My biggest issue with this team is coaching. I want the coaching to be freaking better. I want it to be genius level. I want it to be able to compete against the great minds that they're going to have to see in the playoffs, because that's when we seem to stumble the most, is when we play against Andy Reid, you know, great coaching minds, and they put together great schemes against us, and we go in and we just seem to fall apart, you know, with our schemes because we didn't game plan well enough, you know, and that's what, to me, that's what happened early in the season too. We just didn't game plan the way we should have game planned for these teams and put these guys in the best situation to win. You watch Falele, and you watch him play, and you're trying to figure out how in the hell is this guy on the NFL roster. You know, at the same time, you put him out there one-on-one, and you know he's the weakest link. Give him some damn help. Game plan help for the guy. That's all I'm saying.
That to me
that's
is
coaching.
That. By the way, that is one of the biggest questions that I've had, Dan. Is why is the ball not coming out quicker, right? Like, and I had a serious conversation about that for the Browns game, and I you know, Dan, I actually took my kids out. I drove to Cleveland, surprised my kids, took them to the game, and I'm like talking about it with my 10-year-old, and I'm like, that Myles Garrett had 4 sacks, but they all were 5 seconds or longer into a play. Like, none of them were just him breaking through. It was just, why isn't the thought, to your point, we all see what we're seeing on the offensive line, why is the ball not coming out quicker in these situations to deal with what it is that you have up front?
100%, Glenn. That's game planning to me. That's coaching. Like, coaching, why would you call a play that's going to take forever to develop when you're playing against a guy like Myles Garrett? Everything got to be 15 yards and shorter. And then every now and then you're going to do something to get Lamar out the pocket and throw the ball deeper. Or a play action that's going to take Garrett's eyes off the backfield for a second to give Lamar a little bit of extra time to get the ball thrown downfield to make a big play here and there. And then you got studs at running back. You know, Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill. You got dudes. Your middle of the field, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Kolar, they're probably the best three in the league as a trio. You know, so I don't understand what we're doing because we have guys we can get the ball too quick and make plays. You get the ball in Zay Flowers' hands in the backfield. He's going to make 2-3 people miss before he go down, and you're going to get something electrifying out of that guy. So we have all the personnel, all the potential, even D-Hop. Like, I would never throw the ball to anybody else on third down and anything with D-Hop in the game. He's getting the ball every damn time. Option route, get to the sticks, option route, you turn left, turn right, I'm going to get the ball to him no matter what. And I just don't understand, like, our mentality as a coaching staff sometimes and how we game plan. You know you got Myles Garrett, double team him, chip block, crack block, anything you can do to get him off your QB and keep your QB safe, that's on the OC, you ask me.
He is Dan Wilcox. He's with us here on GCR. Dan, you bring up Falele. We're all seeing it. There's no I guess this is the question I have. Emory Jones was active for the first time yesterday, but he's a rookie. He didn't have a training camp. He's never played in the NFL, and he played largely at tackle in college, only played a little bit of guard earlier on. Are you at the point – the opinion that a lot of us have that are stupid is you can't do worse, right? Like you just need to do something else to do something else at this point. I talked to a lot of people in football, a lot of scouts over the last couple of weeks, and they've said, no, that's a bad idea. It can get worse. You don't put someone out there who was a third-round pick who's never played before and just think that it's going to be better. Where are you on this line between it can't get worse than this, give Emory Jones a shot, versus no, that's silly, that's not a good strategy for trying to win in the NFL?
I'm on both sides of the fence.
Okay.
You know, I think for Lele, what I'm more frustrated about is his lack of knowledge of what he's supposed to do when he's on the field. So he's like a fish out of water, and he just looked very unsure. Like he's like the sharpest tool in the shed or something like that, or he's just not picking up the offense, or everything is brand new to him, and he's still trying to figure out, you know, how to get his feet sunk in. You know, he had a couple plays against the Jets that say, okay, damn it, there you go, kid. You know, and then you have a couple plays. And you were like, bro, this dude make me sick to my stomach. How the hell is he getting an NFL check? You know, so he has the size, he has the potential. I think he has the athleticism to do it. He just don't have the know-how to do it. And to me, that's coaching as well. You know, you have to stay on them. You got to build these guys. You got to develop these guys. And he just, like, he'll stand around a lot of times just not sure what he should do next.
He's just sort of there, right?
Yeah. Then if you bring a young guy in, to me, what I would expect from him is the same thing that I did in my career. I wasn't the biggest guy in the room. I wasn't the biggest tight end in the league, you know, but I did realize I was quick. I realized I was shifty. I realized I was really, really fast. I was faster than most of the guys I went against because I was a receiver converted to tight end, you know. So when I got in the trenches, I wasn't strong enough to really push these guys around, but I was quicker and faster, so I was able to get to a spot before they were. And then if I missed them, I was able to get back around and get them again, you know, and then get them again if I needed to, and then go to the next level if I needed to. And you cannot coach effort. So I learned how to use my effort and my ability, my quickness, my speed in order to put myself in position just to get in the way most of the time. It wasn't to move them and block them 15, 20, 30 yards downfield and then drop them on their back, but it was just to get in the way. And if you could bring a young guy in and he knows the system and he doesn't make mistakes and he knows where to go and he understands how to get to the next level and he understands when he make one man miss, don't run backwards to chase that guy because all you're going to do is be the next guy in the way for the quarterback to try to escape him. You got a dynamic quarterback, let him be dynamic. And if you miss your guy, get to the next level or go help somebody else with their guy, but don't stand around and be in the way to cause traffic so I can't get around you when it's time for me to take off running as your QB. And to me, that's the biggest issue. He's so unsure that it's confusing.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you leave him in there, maybe he will develop into what you need by the time you need him the most.
I guess,
you know, so
can you see those things
ahead.
in practice? Like, is practice competitive enough? Because, again, we did not get to see Emory Jones during training camp, during the joint practices, during the preseason. Is practice competitive enough that you can tell that about a rookie that he's ready? And I wouldn't think it would be this week, right, because it's just such a short week going into Thanksgiving. Yeah. But maybe the week after that where you have, you know, you get an extra day of practice next Monday coming off of that. Could you make that determination about someone's readiness from that?
I think you can.
Okay.
I 100% think you can. I mean, that's how you develop everybody. We grade. When I was a scout in the scouting department in Baltimore, we graded players every single day.
Yeah.
So if you're grading out a guy every day and he grading out as 100, an A+, an A+, then hell, it's a no-brainer.
Okay.
If you're grading out at 60s and 50s and 40s and 30s, let's give this kid some more time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so to me, it's absolutely. I think you can figure out everything. I know you can figure out everything you need to find out about a guy in practice. You always treat practice like a game, so a game feel like practice. So if you're going hard in practice every single day, they think that's exactly what they're going to get on game day. You know, if you don't go hard every single day in practice, then they think that's what they're going to get every single day when you step foot on a playing field on game day. So I think they can figure it out during practice, and they can figure out whether or not they want to get this kid a couple of reps to work him in kind of slowly, see how he reacts, see if the game is too big for him, see if it ain't too big for him, and, you know, put him in for, you know, put a couple packages in, put a couple plays in for the kid so he ain't got to think too hard. and give them shots to go in on those plays and see what happens.
Let's talk about
That's what I would do.
Let's talk about a big couple of positives. All right, Dan. Let's talk about Draymond Jones, right? Because I know every Ravens fan wanted a sexier name than Draymond Jones. They wanted, Jalen Phillips. They wanted the guys that were never going to get traded. They wanted the Max Crosbys of the world. But like, I can't say enough about how much this dude has fit in immediately and has been exactly what this team needed.
I can't say enough either, Glenn. Like, every game I watch and I see the kid keep popping up and showing up on film and making plays and being disruptive, and that's all you need in the middle of the field. You need guys that's going to demand respect from the opposing offense, where they'll give him enough respect, would double him or put emphasis on him or make sure that he gets blocked. And he's in the backfield creating havoc every single week. Yeah. And when you create havoc, you force that guy sometimes to another guy that can make a play. So everybody's benefiting from him being on the squad. And I'm glad he was able to pick up the defense as fast as he was and fit right in. And he looked like a perfect fit for Baltimore. I hope he stays for a long time.
No, he's been tremendous. And then it was wild to me listening to everybody go out of their way to talk about Jordan Stout yesterday, because I have been awfully critical of Jordan Stout in his first couple of seasons of Baltimore. And I know that part of the problem was there had been a standard that had been set, right? Like Sam Cook was
Sam Cook was crazy.
Brilliant, right? Like was an artist as a punter. But, dude, what this guy is doing right now and the lift that it's giving this team as they have gone through some struggles, I don't think that it can be overstated what a weapon he's become this season.
100%. People don't really understand the importance of special teams. A lot of times people go get snacks and stuff when special team plays happen and it comes on. But me being a former player, being a special team captain in Baltimore, and playing special teams my entire career, it's a staple. Like, you give your offense better field position, you give your defense better field position, you make the other team have to go 99 yards to travel the field, to be able to get guys pinned inside the goal line is such an amazing task. It's the way the directional punts, where you can pin guys into corners, you don't give them a whole field to return the ball on. Like, all those things matter, man, and people sleep on those all the time, year in and year out. But special teams is the key to putting your offense in prime position to make an easy score. All you need is 35 yards to score because you got a big, punt return or a big kickoff return. And then, on defense, you're going to pin the guys inside the 10 or 15 or 5-yard line, and all they need is one tackle, and then you get a safety and the ball back for your offense. These are opportunities, man, that you cannot miss. You have to be able to appreciate the greatness of what special teams bring to an organization like us, with your head coach being a special teams coach. He's not an offensive mastermind or a defensive mastermind. He's a special teams mastermind. So when you see this stuff happening on special teams, you have to take it for what it's worth. Hand claps off to John Harbaugh.
Man, he's been awesome. He has been absolutely exceptional. All right, brother. What is your involvement? What are you responsible for any part of Thanksgiving dinner? Are you making any of it, or are you just sitting back and enjoying?
Yeah, my only responsibility is eating it. That's the way I like it, Glenn.
That is a good life. That is a good life, my friend. That is not bad. See, I don't mind. Now, I've been in charge of the turkey for the last few years, and I don't mind being in charge of the turkey, right? Like, any excuse I have to fire up the smoker that's good in my book, right? Like, I don't mind sitting out on Wednesday smoking a turkey. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. I'm going to attempt for the first time, and I know, as you know, I am as white as it gets, but I am going to attempt to smoke some mac and cheese this week as well, Dan, and we will see how it goes. I don't know if it's in my blood to make a really good, like, you know a thing or two about the South. You know a thing or two about good mac and cheese. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm going to give it a shot. And
Glenn, that's a lot of responsibility, man. I would hate to be in your shoes. You mess that turkey up, everybody's mad. You mess that macaroni and cheese up, everybody's mad. Even the kids mad at you with macaroni and cheese.
I'm very confident about my turkey. I'm good, right? Like, I get the Creole butter working. Like, I'll nail the turkey. But the mac and cheese, it's just never been attempted before. The good news is I don't have to worry about embarrassing my ancestors, because my ancestors did not make good mac and cheese. So I got that going for me.
I like it, Glenn. I like it, brother.
Everybody, Dan, about the We Bleed Purple podcast and what you guys are doing.
Hey, man, you guys can join us anytime you want on the We Bleed Purple podcast. It's me and my co-host, Matt Trigger, and we usually film on Thursday night, Wednesday nights, and Thursday night we film live, and you can also like, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us, and turn on your notifications, man. So every time we go live, you guys get a chance to to jump in and be a part of it. You know, we got a chance to have John Abraham on last week.
Oh, that's cool.
Super awesome experience, man. He was a former teammate of mine when I was with the Jets. So it's cool, man. You know, it's a great experience. We're going to keep chipping away at it and keep trying to bring cool guests on so you guys can get a different perspective of life and football. And I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Glenn, for having me.
Dan, always appreciate you, brother. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Let's talk again real soon, all right?
Sounds great, Glenn.
Thanks,
See you soon.
buddy. It's Dan Wilcox joining us here on GCR. Appreciate him taking the time for us. All right. Hey, we are just a couple of weeks away. Big win for Perry Hall this weekend. Yeah, baby. Keep things rolling at the 3A, 4A level. We are just a couple of weekends away. What angst would you have to Perry Hall? Like, why would you be worked up about that at all? I mean, it's one thing if you went to, like, you know, Parkville or went to Delaney or something like that, but you didn't, so I don't know why you would care. It's like me showing angst towards Glen Burnie whenever Drew brings him up. I'm indifferent. Yeah, win, lose, I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. It don't affect me, dog. That's the way that it works. But yeah, we are getting closer and closer to Annapolis and championship week at the public school level. Find out everything that you missed from this weekend in the high school football playoffs by going to countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. We'll come back in. We will do picks recap. I don't want to.
Maybe we just don't.
I would rather we didn't. We'll do. Is there even going to be a competition at the top of the table?
I don't know, man. James is cheating.
God, man. Yeah, how does he get the script?
I don't know.
We'll do
ridiculous.
Pats on the ass. Then we're going to talk some baseball with Tim Kurkjian. We're doing all that when we come back in. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Don Marcus profiles new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, breaking down the challenge he faces in his new role and the unique background he brings to the job. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg takes an in-depth look at Orioles outfielder Dylan Beavers. And we meet college basketball players from all the programs around the state before the season gets underway. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region. And starting this month, you can find us at Baltimore area High's Dairy Store locations. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
No, Proctor, I will not be serving the apple pie mac and cheese at Clark Family Thanksgiving.
Well, try
Not
maybe
a
you
chance in
didn't-
hell.
you didn't prepare
I'm telling
for
you, my
it
children who like everything mac and cheese, who think
maybe you need to smoke it. That's what the.
I don't think that's gonna make the difference. What an abomination that is. That's not even like it'd be mild. I'm telling you, if you have like a morbid curiosity by the Kraft apple pie mac and cheese, like first of all, it's Kraft mac and cheese. It is what it is, right? But Kraft mac and cheese is not offensive. It's not good. We've all been there. We've all had that when we were kids. Parents weren't home. Like we're like, make some Kraft mac and cheese. Our night's gonna be all right. Like it's not offensive. The apple pie mac and cheese is offensive. It is an abomination. It is something that shouldn't even exist for curiosity's sake. A pox on the Kraft Corporation for
What if they want to,
couldn't love them anymore. Everything they do is great. Are we working on that or?
Me personally, no.
Oh, okay. All right, because we must. It's time for us to recap the weekend in picks. I picked Maryland to advance past North Carolina in the NCAA soccer tournament.
you did?
So I did get a point for that. Right?
I should get a point. Well, I also said Jets plus 7.5 first half, and obviously that one hit easily.
Not gonna help.
So I should get a point for that.
Gonna help.
KZ said he wants
Unfortunately.
bonus points because he said that Michigan would win by 25. So.
He did. He did say that. That was hey, thanks to everybody who brought out and made donations. Either showed up on the including Griffin, who showed up with donations.
It's my first
on
time meeting
Saturday.
Sean Merriman in person. His hands
Yes,
are
he's
about as big as my torso.
You should. This was the first time I had met Sean's son, who I think a lot of people know is a high-level, highly ranked quarterback in New Jersey, who we're hoping maybe would come to Maryland. Sean made a really funny joke. So I spent the day. Like, this is the thing about my buddy AJ Francis. AJ is very much a man of the people.
Because I got that you're like, AJ's not here. I was like, oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah,
and as I'm walking into the stadium, his face is on the Jumbotron. He's like, let's go.
Yeah, he's doing 100 things. Like, we show up and we spend some time together, and then sometimes he'll be like, hey, bro, do you want to roll with me for the day, right? And I'll be like, I mean, I can, but if you need help, like, I'd rather, so he just wants me to be like his, I don't know, personal assistant for the day.
His PR guy.
Yeah, where like, wherever he goes, I go with him. I make sure. All right, AJ's coming through. Everybody.
Yeah. Tell me who these people are as he's talking to him, right?
So this year, I was happy to say, why don't I just hang out with your dad, and your sister, and we'll make sure we're collecting. And because we were also doing Sean Merriman's coat drive this year, we had more. I got to tell you, that worked out phenomenally. The number of people who brought out both, it was a great year for both drives. Not a great year for the game, but a great year for both drives. Weather also helped. More people obviously coming out. But we had an amazing outpouring of support for both. So, we had kind of agreed with Sean, like, hey, we'll cover it all. We'll be over here. We got you on this side. You can do whatever you need to do. Sean is not quite like AJ. Like, he's happy if they ask him to do something, he'll do it. But he's not, like, going out of his way to try to find another. So Sean ended up spending most of the time with us. Like, the majority of the time was with us. And he had his son Justin with him. And at one point he said something about Justin. He was like, Justin knows that his decision about where he's going is going to be the difference in him driving a Benz or driving a 2007 Ford Tempo. Sean would really like it if Justin decided to end up at Maryland. But it was the first time I saw him, and I'm like, he's how old now? And Sean's like, yeah, he was on a freshman team this year, but they called him up to varsity. And I'm like, maybe he's a sophomore. I don't remember off the top of my head. But, yeah, I get it. I can see why people are enamored with Sean's son, Justin, as perhaps being a high-level quarterback. We had an really amazing day. And thank you, yes, to Griffin, who showed up and made some donations. And not only those of you that showed up with your donations, but who got in with monetary donations. My entire back seat was covered in breakfast bars, which was awesome. And we had the largest collection we've ever had with AJ's food drive for a single game. So thank you all. It was incredible. Spent some time with Jim Smith, Maryland Athletic Director, who was angry that we hadn't invited him back on the show. And I said, well, okay, I guess we can do that. I know things are a little awkward at the moment. But that part of the day, great. That part, tremendous. As soon as the game kicked off, by the time we got everything loaded into the truck.
Well, if the onside kick had worked.
Yeah. By the time we got everything loaded into the truck, it was early in the second quarter. And
it was still tight.
I hadn't decided if I was going to go watch the game from the press box or Torrey Smith was not at the game on Saturday. He wasn't able to go, so he had told AJ that we could all use his suite for the game. So I was like, well, that sounds great. Maybe I'll just go sit in Torrey's suite. And then I kind of looked at the score, and I kind of looked at everything.
Yeah, but it's Torrey's suite.
AJ needed some help getting everything out to the Sarah's house. I was like, I think I'm good. So I did not stay I stayed until halftime, and then that was it for me. It did not go well. And that is where we kick off our picks recap, unfortunately. Not that any of the rest of it was good for me. It was bad all around. But it started with Maryland. I don't know why I thought maybe this would be the week. I think it was more about Michigan for me. I just hadn't been impressed by Michigan offensively.
I mean, had they scored this many points against anyone this season yet?
No.
And I thought the Maryland defense maybe.
A bludgeoning. A slow start for Oklahoma and not necessarily a dominant performance. And also, you lied to me about the quarterback situation for Missouri.
He was doubtful. He was literally listed as doubtful on Thursday. Yeah. And then Pete Thamel comes out Friday, and he's like, there's a chance Bo Prabula might go.
Thankfully, this was somehow one of the few that I got this week.
Well, you owe it to me, I
needed
guess.
it badly. Griffin, Jeremy, and James. James, who gets everything right, was on Missouri.
The quarterback wasn't playing, and I took Missouri.
Yeah. USC was semi-competitive with Oregon for a little while, but ultimately not really. Oregon won that game comfortably. They cover. Andrew Stetka, Kyle Ottenheimer, Paul Valley, and John Proctor were on USC. Obviously, the crazy thing from Thursday night, the Bills game, which got off to the start that I expected it to get off to, and then all of a sudden, nothing. Just nothing. By the way, this was finally the year. For years, I have said I'm not going to be the guy that drafts quarterbacks early. I won't do it. But then this year, in two separate leagues, I drafted very early Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
I did the same thing. I never draft quarterbacks early. I took Jaden Daniels across two or three, at least two.
Meanwhile, the two leagues where my quarterback is Caleb Williams, I'm great.
I got Drake May in my other leagues.
Great.
So I'm doing,
great. Yeah, Houston obviously not only covers but wins outright. On Houston were Andrew Griffin, Jeremy, Joe, John and Little Rock, and Kyle Ottenheimer. Chicago, it was interesting at times during the course of that game, but it went about the way that I would expect it to. Is ultimately the Bears were only 2.5-point favorites and had no trouble. It was competitive. It's not like the
I mean, it was a 3-point game, so.
Yeah, I mean.
But yeah, they needed a defensive touchdown. And
yeah, the Steelers. And I don't really know that it has anything to do with the quarterback. I don't think it's that. I just don't think the Steelers are very good. But
it makes no sense.
What it is.
I don't know. The Steelers don't make any sense to me. I don't know.
I saw somebody. Who's the guy that covers the Steelers or covered the Steelers for years and now is part of the Pat McAfee show somehow?
The athletic guy, Caboli.
Yeah, Caboli, that guy. Who I have no idea what he does. He's involved with WWE. I think he just might be buddies with Pat McAfee.
Well, I think he was fired by. Well, I mean, fired, whatever. Laid off.
Yeah, laid off the Athletic.
But just because.
But so it says on his bio covers the Steelers, the Pat McAfee show. But I don't know what that means. He wrote a post-game story on Twitter.
Yeah.
His tweet was an entire post-game story about the game. I was like, this is weird. Does the Pat McAfee show have him on daily to talk about the Steelers for some reason? It's a very weird bit. I can't make heads or tails of it. But he was getting attention because he sent out a tweet that said something like, I can't figure out what the Steelers are from game to game. And somebody else, I think somebody from Russell Street Report retweeted it and was like, I see this a lot from Steelers fans. It seems like the rest of the country has no real problem figuring out they're not good. We're not all that confused by the Steelers from game to game. They're just not that good. Like, yeah, they beat the Patriots, but that was in like week 2 or something like that.
Yeah. Was that week 1? No, it was week 2.
One of those.
Yeah.
So like we didn't know yet that the Patriots were actually very good. But for the most part, it hasn't been that tough to figure out the Steelers. They're not that good. Now, that's ironic.
6-5.
Because yes, they have the exact
3 that they beat.
They have it was week 3.
Yeah.
Look at that. They have the exact same record that the Ravens
The
do.
Patriots haven't lost since.
And they did, of course, mix in a win over the Colts in there, which is part of what I think that's the only reason that anybody has to feel like maybe it's not just that the Steelers stink. That's the only.
They beat a good Jets team we just saw.
Right. That's the only evidence that we have since week 4 that the Steelers are any good is that they got to win over the Colts. Everything else says they're not a good football team. Everything else, all of the rest of the evidence just says they're not a good football team. That's it. Or you overvalue the win they had in week 3 over the Patriots before the Patriots started to figure things out. I don't know, man. I just don't think they're a very good football team.
Oh yeah, that was the game. Was that Drake May turned it over 5 times?
Yeah, and the Colts was the same thing. Like the Steelers have one path to being good. Their path to being good is you get a ton of turnovers. But this is the reason. They are the definitive reason why all the data people always tell you turnovers are not predictive. Like, we want them, but you don't base whether or not you believe a team is good on turnovers created. Because turnovers can be goofy. And you can do everything right on a play and not get a turnover. You can do nothing right on a play, and a guy can just drop a ball that ends up in your hand. Like last night, and we'll get to the Buccaneers thing, Kate Otten's bobbling a ball. Bobbling a ball. And it just – that had nothing to do with the defense making a play, but it turns into 6 points the other way. And I still don't even know that it should have been 6 points because, as they pointed
that's
out –
one of those plays where you just – I think
essentially, they're just saying, well, we're just going with what was caught on the field. When, like, you look at it, and as they point out – like, there's a weird world where we're dealing with this clear and obvious thing. Like, that's supposed to be the measurement because I think it was Tez Johnson that had a catch last night that was overturned. Like, the Rams went to challenge it, and they were told, oh, you don't have to challenge it. And I watch it, I'm like, there is nothing clear and obvious about this.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Like, at all.
I was trying to remember why I turned the game off.
Yes, it does kind of seem like maybe at the end the ball might touch the ground, but it also sort of seems like he has control over it.
I thought it was definitely a catch.
Yeah, it's definitely exactly not clear and obvious that it should have been overturned. And on the flip side, if we're using that standard, well, it had to be clear and obvious that he didn't have control of the ball and a knee down on the ground. I guess it's not clear and obvious, but it looks clear-ish that he has control of the ball. I don't remember who it was. It was Otten, right? That Otten had control of the ball and a knee on the ground. But we're talking about a different game at this point. Oh, yeah, this is the Tez Johnson thing from last night. The Griffins. We haven't even gotten to this game yet in Picks Recap. We're talking about the other thing.
We'll let people know what's going on here, I guess.
But this is, to me, the example of why this is not the example I was making. Yeah, this is
which one? This is the
I was
Johnson.
bringing up the Kate Otten thing as an example of turnovers aren't predictive. This is
anyway, they ruled this an incomplete pass after calling it a catch on the field, which
and like
weird.
If you see the ball does a little bit touch
it moves, but like
ground,
it stays on top of his wrist.
Right,
the whole
it
time.
seems like he has control of it.
It's weird.
Yeah, I can't believe that. That's what you're overturning. And the Kate Otten thing to me is one that, like, again, when they show it and he's got control of the ball and his knee's down. Okay, yeah. But this might only be the live action, and you can't see it in the live action.
Yeah.
Like, you need the replay where you see him with the ball and a knee on the ground, and you're like, oh.
Courtesy of NBC.
Yeah, live action, I absolutely thought this was a turnover. I was like, yep, I get it. But if you once you got to the replay, there's a frame where it definitely appears as though Kate Otten is on the ground with control of the ball. Knee on the ground, control of the ball being touched.
Well, you can't tell that he's got control. I mean,
looks like it. In the replay, it absolutely looks like he has control of the ball.
It looks like the ball's getting, like, ripped out as...
that's not what you got to find the replay. Because it's like a freeze frame in the replay where you see it and you're like, yeah, that looks the other way. Now, again, it's close enough that I understand why they just went with the call on the field. Like, when these things are very close, I always understand why you go up for a second. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Is both knees are on the ground. And,
yeah, but I don't think he ever had full possession.
In this, when you see the freeze frame, it does not look like it's debatable.
Well, it didn't look like they had the angle.
Well, no, they came back from after the break. They came back
and showed it.
And they showed it.
Here it is.
And they had, this is the one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Here we go. This is also from NBC last night.
Yeah.
So he's got control.
Yo, you think that's control right there?
Absolutely, that's good. He's got two hands around the ball and a knee on the ground.
But he had been bobbling it for.
But that one, he had two hands around the ball. The last action. Go.
But also,
it
looked like it looked like Durant had
no,
already got it in there.
Go back.
It'll reset. It'll recycle.
It starts. Two hands around the ball. Knee hits the ground right there. At no point does it feel as though the ball is out in any way. That right there is a catch. Now, I get it. It's really close. And when it's really close, defaulting to what was caught on the field is the thing that we've always been through. But if that's not really what the measurement's supposed to be, if it's supposed to be you do everything in your power to get it right, then to me, that's the one that you look at and say, yeah, that's a catch, and he's down. The ball ain't out at that point. And if that was the standard, that would be the standard. It's just weird, the standards for replays, man. Like, the standards for replays are bizarre. How the Tez Johnson thing is definitely incomplete, and this is definitely the other way. The only argument for this is the call on the field was an interception. That's what Terry McCauley said when they cut back to him. Like, the call on the field was an interception. By rule, that's a good call. Well, if the call on the field matters that much, and the Tez Johnson thing to me, I have no idea how you're overturning that. It's one or the other. Either you're doing everything with the video to make sure you get the play right. And when you freeze that, and the ball is not out, and there's a knee on the ground, and he's clearly being touched, that's catch. It wasn't going to make a difference. The Buccaneers got skull-dragged.
And Baker got hurt. Yeah,
it's a disaster.
Teddy Bridgewater's got shreds, so I didn't know that.
How about
Also didn't know that he was backup quarterback in Tampa.
Did he gain weight? Like, he somehow looks slower to me. I know he was never, like, he was more of the Byron Leftwich type of quarterback where, like, we would describe him as, like, deceptive athleticism. I don't even think he's got deceptive athleticism anymore.
I mean, it looks like he's wearing... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the gloves that just make him look a little bigger, a little heavier.
I don't know. Anyway, Andrew, Griffin, Jeremy. This is the only NFL game I got right all weekend. John and Little Rock, Kyle, Paul, we're all on Pittsburgh for that one.
That's what we were talking
Yeah,
about.
we got off on a tangent about turnovers. That's what it started with.
Like
that to me,
why the Steelers are
why
good.
Turnovers aren't predictive is the Kate Otten thing from last night. Durant got the ball because Kate Otten bobbled it long enough to run into Durant. He didn't make a play. He just kept bobbling it until Durant was there. And then as it turns out, he probably still didn't actually make the play. But this is why turnovers, they say, aren't predictive. You don't use turnovers when you try to predict, what defenses are good. The Steelers, on days where they've gotten tons of turnovers, have won games against good football teams. But that's their path to winning. If they don't get tons of turnovers, then they're not winning. Kansas City, bastards, we talked about it earlier. Down 3 late with the ball inside the 10. All you got to do is score a touchdown. They get the cover. Life is good.
Yeah, but, it's not like I was rooting for Kansas City. It's kind of still like
it is.
Lose.
It is.
Like, I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know. We're still rooting against them.
It is a weird feeling, right? Well, you're not rooting for the Colts. If you're a Ravens fan, you're not rooting for the Colts. But
no.
You're thinking to yourself, maybe it's better to just keep the Chiefs out of the playoffs, right? Like, maybe that's the better path. Now, is it? I don't know. I have no idea which of these teams is actually more of a threat. The Colts completely go away from Jonathan Taylor. The Chiefs keep the game on the ground with Kareem Hunt and end up winning in overtime, but not covering the 3.5. Myself, Griffin, Stecca, Jeremy, and John and Little Rock, and Paul Valley were all on Kansas City there. Philadelphia jumps out to a 21-0 lead, and we all say, whew, easy cover. Easy. 3.5. LOL. And then they stop scoring. Don't score any more points the rest of the game after racing out to a 21-0 lead. What? That, to me, is example of why you don't bet on the NFL. Don't bet on the NFL because a game like this is going to occur. And there's no explanation for it.
My side won.
Yeah, you're good. There's no explanation for the Eagles utterly looking. Like you can say, well, Dallas's defense is better than you think it is.
They gave up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter or whatever it was. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain how this occurs. But ultimately, what I know is
this the play of the year?
Which one?
The punt, the punch out on the punt.
Oh, that one? I mean, yeah, it was a nice. I don't know if it's the play of the year, but
I mean, but when you're talking about football plays,
it's a hell of a play. I'm not saying it's not a hell of a play. I just don't know if it's the play of the year.
One of the greatest plays that I feel like I've ever seen.
All right, we're doing a little hyperbole now.
I mean,
he
gets knocked down
He's
5
knocked down
times.
a couple times and gets back up, but that type of stuff does happen.
And then he punches
a lot.
the ball out on the punt return.
Griffin, I'm not saying it's not a great play. It's a great play. There's no doubt.
I mean, that like fires me up just seeing that.
Hey, man, stay in the play. Stay in the play. Get after it. Ultimately, the Cowboys win. I was on Philly, so
But after that happened, then you knew Dallas was going to win.
Yeah, I mean, really, at that point. I don't know. Even when they got to 21-21, I was like, I'm not getting a cover.
Well, it's funny because they get the ball there, and then they don't, because they go for on 4th down, and they don't score right there.
Correct. And the Eagles get the ball back, and you're like, yeah, but now they're just going to settle for a field goal. So I still think they're going to win, but I just don't think I'm getting the cover out of it. And last, none of it. Joe Serpico, John Little Rock, John Proctor, Paul, and Ryan were all in Philly as well. Tampa gets utterly skull-dragged. Is there a Baker Mayfield update?
He got an MRI. Forget. There was. I forget what
the
it
update
said.
on Will Campbell from the Patriots was good, right? Like, he's not necessarily out for the season?
Correct. Yeah, Will Campbell's not. He's not done for the year, but...
Which obviously isn't relevant fantasy-wise.
Will Campbell is
relevant.
believed to have suffered an MCL sprain for Will Campbell.
Not a tear, so he
So they said they could put him on IR, but like he could be back for
the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, waiting on an update on Baker Mayfield. In the meantime,
Trey Smith for the Chiefs has both a high and low ankle sprain.
Doesn't seem good. Never good to have both.
No.
Anyway, the Rams do skull drag the Buccaneers. I mean, it was an ass kicking. Andrew Steck, Jeremy Kahn, Joe Serpico, John Proctor, and Kyle Ottenheimer were all on the Rams and get that one.
Actually, no update on Baker. It's just that he's getting an MRI today for a shoulder sprain.
And the scumbags who took the Jets and eked it out by a half a point.
Yeah, screw you guys.
Andrew Steck, Paul Valley, Ken Zales.
Why was Steck on the Jets?
And I mean, we said it was a big number, but
the Jets are terrible.
You got it by a half a point. It's not like you knew something. You got it by a half a point. Somebody else was on it. John Little Rock, who, of course, picks against the Ravens every week.
Oh, Paul was on it. Wow.
Paul
needed that
big week for Ken Zales. Massive week for Ken Zales. He's gone from power bottom to comfortably separated. In fact, everybody's right in the middle at this point. Like, the majority of us are smack dab in the middle. Ken Zales goes 7-2, and it gets 4 games worth of separation on our new power bottom, Paul Valley.
Return to the power.
Yeah, it's true. Paul Valley back in a power bottom role. He is 3 games behind.
We should start doing it that. And
new power bottom.
That's
Paul
not bad.
Valley. Kyle Ottenheimer, 3 games clear. Ryan and Ken Zales, both 4 games clear. And then all of us are 5 games clear. The majority of us are sitting 7 games back of the lead. James Revere, by going 5-4 this week, is now 4 games in front of Griffin, and actually Andrew made up a game, so Andrew is 4 games behind him as well in a tie for second. And then a bunch of us, myself, John Little Rock, Jeremy Kahn, John Proctor, and Joe Serpico, all 7 games back of the top and 5 games clear of power bottom status. That's where we're at in our picks contest. Now, Pats on the Ass for the week. Pats on the Ass are brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel, the best place to watch every big game, every fight night, every time there's something happening in sports that you want to have an atmosphere for. The place to watch is Inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel, man. The 100-foot media wall, great food and drink specials, just steps away from the FanDuel Sportsbook. Live Casino and Hotel. Sports and Social.
That's what I should have done.
What?
Called out of here. Watch this
Go
game.
watch the
Watch
game,
kids'
yeah, right?
Oof.
Then Griffin and
Rhode Island hasn't made a field goal since like 11:30.
Hey man.
That
just
there we
changed.
go.
Way to bring it up. Way to bring it up, a-hole. Way to go. All right, Pats in the ass. You know the drill. Pick 5 Ravens. 2 must be offensive players. 2 must be defensive players. The 5th can be another offensive player, another defensive player, a special teams player, or a coach. Take those 5, rank them 5 to 1. 1's your man of the match. Who's most deserving of praise for their performance in the win? Someone who responds at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter or Blue Sky will be receiving a Flock Yeah t-shirt courtesy of PressBox. Numero uno. Or sorry, we go the other way. Number 5. That's where we start. Number 5 for me. Which one's my...
That one's mine. The one you touched first is my pile, yeah. Mine's not in order, though.
All right. Oh, good.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Or what, here, you want me to...
No, it's
try to
fine. That's fine. I can figure this all out. My number 5 is Derrick Henry, who I didn't think was necessarily great in watching the game. He just happened to be the guy that scored the 2 touchdowns. But then the number that jumped out at me, his 64 yards on the ground, 55 of them came after contact. That did stand.
That's not good, but
not,
that's
yeah,
good
it's
for
not.
him.
It's not great in terms of what you're dealing
Except for football.
with. But in terms of judging someone's performance, it changed my opinion about the subject. And, of course, had a big catch in there as well.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, number 5 on the list for me.
Yeah, I had him at 5 as well. I mean, obviously the 2 touchdowns were big. Like, I mean, they have to score there, and that's where they've been having a lot of trouble in the red zone and short yardage, and they made sure to get in there. So I had him at 4 until I realized that, you know, it was still a relatively mediocre day for a running back, just 3 yards per carry. But it is Derrick Henry, and the 2 touchdowns were huge. So I put him at 5, and then I put my guy at number 4, who was kind of more so the reason I think for these touchdowns. I had Pat Ricard as my number 4. I thought Ricard was tremendous yesterday, and, you know, on a day where no one was really standing out offensively, I thought Ricard looked great. Like, every time he's on the field, something good offensively happens. He created both those holes on the goal line for the touchdowns for Henry to walk in. On one of the plays right before that, Lamar was trying to scramble, wasn't able to get into the end zone, obviously, but Faalele just completely misses his guy, and Ricard picks him up to allow Lamar to at least scramble out of the pocket and try to make something happen, even though it didn't. But Pat Ricard was my number 4.
I thought about him, but ultimately Zay Flowers was too important in getting the offense going. And while I couldn't put him any higher because the one drop was bad, like, that was a bad. It was a classic. And Zay does this where he's already dancing and trying to figure out.
Everyone had a drop. Like, Andrews had the drop in the end zone, and Tylan Wallace obviously had the drop.
But still, Zay was way too important on the day. Zay was number 4, finished with 5 catches for 58 yards, I think it was. Right, but way too important in finally getting the offense going when they did get going. So Zay was number 4 for me. I guess that leads into my number 3. Yes. My number 3 is Mike Green, who, did you know that Mike Green leads the Ravens in sacks this season? With 2.5.
Oh, okay, I was going to say 3,
2.5. Which ain't great, but had a team high 5 pressures yesterday, including the 1 sack. He was all over the place wrecking havoc. Mike Green is my number 3.
Well, the 1 sack came, at the very end of the game, so it was like kind of a garbage time sack, so that was why I was like, I mean, you know, yes, he had a really good day.
5 pressures on the day, more pressures than anybody else on the team.
Maybe it's the Lamar Jackson thing that we've had the last 2 seasons, but, I mean, Kyle Hamilton's my number 3. Like, you know, it's very much, you just forget, and he's got 10 tackles.
I also just didn't think that, like,
he's getting tackles. I don't think he got credit for a TFL. I thought for sure there was a TFL at least early in the game, but I think he's just meeting guys at the line of scrimmage.
But I didn't think he had a dominant day yesterday. I thought he had
outside of the one guy, you know, I think nobody really on the defense had that crazy of a dominant day. I mean, it was just a weird game. But Kyle Hamilton's
That's why I chose the guy that had 5 pressures.
Okay. I mean, you know, but you know,
I also considered Travis Jones, who I thought had a really good day.
Travis Jones was
Travis Jones had a really nice
impactful. Day. I mean, I almost thought Marlon just because of the big play, like
I mean, it was a big play.
He's playing with one hand. He's playing with one hand.
I get it.
And
it was a massive play.
And even Gilman, just because the way that ball comes out, it very easily someone on the Jets could have fallen on it. Like, Gilman was the only – it's funny because Gilman's the only one that falls on top of it, and then he's at the bottom of that pile for, like, a minute while the rest of the defense is celebrating. They're not trying to, like, help him in there. So he was on the bottom of that pile for a long time by himself. So I just, like, even just recovering the ball, that felt like a massive play and enough for Gilman, even though I think Gilman had a couple, like, the touchdown was Gilman. Yeah, that was on Gilman, so he couldn't put Gilman on there. But, yeah, Kyle Hamilton's my number 3.
Number 2 is Jordan Stout. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. He's become a weapon. He's figured some things out. He kicked the ball 74 yards. I mean, I don't
ties the franchise record.
74 freaking yards on a punt.
And then the 67-yarder was beautiful.
And it also, the other thing, too, is not all...
And that was 67
yards.
And
not all 74-yarders are made equal, because you can do a 74-yard punt that just completely outkicks the coverage and puts yourself in hell. That wasn't
every
the case.
time they were, Catalan's like, and a big boot from Stout here, and it's like, sure. And then they cut to the returner, and he's backpedaling and backing up the entire. I mean, yeah, it was. We've been hard on Jordan Stout, and no need to yesterday. He was unbelievable.
Need to for much of this season. Like this season, he's largely been very good, man.
He was my number 2 as well. Yeah.
And look, man, Draymond Jones was just freaking phenomenal yesterday. He was awesome. 4 pressures, 1.5 sacks, had another TFL, had 2 quarterback hits. I mean, had a pass breakup. Like he was awesome, and he's been an awesome pickup. And I don't know what else there is to say. Draymond Jones has been a rock star.
Right.
He was an easy choice for number 1.
I doubt we can expect this every week, but I mean, yesterday he was the best player on the field yesterday, and it felt like he was involved in every play, one way or another. Like even if he wasn't getting a pressure, he was jawing with the Jets offensive line, getting under their skin. Like it was just he was playing like a Raven yesterday, and it was fun to watch. It was fun to.
We will get those
have
up
a guy like that again.
At GlennClarkRadio.com. Again, get me yours at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter and Blue Sky, and someone will receive a Flock Yeah t-shirt courtesy of Pressbox. Today's show is also brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, Frederick, and Columbia, where they've helped me out a great deal. Peptide proteins have been a game changer. I wake up in the morning, I feel good, I don't feel sore. I thought I was low T. I got a complimentary testosterone test. Turns out that wasn't the case. Turns out I just needed a little bit of a pep. Peptides. How about that? But you might be dealing with that. You might be legitimately low T. They got a treatment plan for you. You might be dealing with erectile dysfunction symptoms. Perhaps you're just dealing with like stubborn belly fat that simply won't come off. They've got a plan for you. Game Day Men's Health. GameDayMen'sHealth.com, or give them a call, 443-264-4454 in Owings Mills, 443-266-3505 in Columbia, 240-931-3717 in Frederick. Had to do this a little bit earlier on today, but always a pleasure to catch up with one of our favorites, Tim Kurkjian, right here on GCR. Always a pleasure to catch up with our next guest. Of course, you know him from ESPN's MLB coverage, as well as his podcast. He's just one of the best people there is in the world. He's the great Hall of Famer, Tim Kurkjian, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Tim, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up with you as always. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
Well, my pleasure. How's everything?
Everything is all right, Tim. I think we've had a few days now to sort of marinate on the Orioles making this Grayson Rodriguez-Taylor Ward trade, and I still can't tell you that I'm like super fired up about it at this point. You've had a few days to think about it and consider every aspect of it. What do you make of this being the kickoff to the Orioles offseason?
Yeah, it's a little confusing. I'm not in any way outraged on any level, like what are they doing? None of that. I mean, Taylor Ward can hit, and we saw all last year and really down the stretch in 2024, this team didn't score enough runs, so they need more production, and Taylor Ward will give them that. But being a free agent at the end of 2026, and you're giving up a young arm that so many people are looking for these days, it's still a little confusing to me, because once you have a good young pitcher, you almost always keep him. But we all understand that Grayson Rodriguez gets hurt a lot, and maybe they looked at him and said, this might continue, and we cannot wait for him to get healthy and show us how great he can be.
Just specifically on Ward, because I've asked this of a few people that I've talked to so far. We know he hit 36 home runs a year ago and has sort of changed his approach to be more of the modern baseball player, true outcome type. But, I mean, he had never hit more than 25 home runs in a season before that. Is he definitely the middle of the order bat the Orioles need? They tried to replace Anthony Santander with Tyler O'Neill. They still clearly hope O'Neill gives them something, but is Ward definitely that middle of the order bat at this point?
Yes, I think he is. As we know, Glenn, the beauty of baseball is the light goes on. Guys become better hitters at certain ages. You know, Paul O'Neill was a better hitter in his 30s than he was in his 20s. Raul Ibanez hit more homers in his 40s than he did in his 20s. So maybe Taylor Ward is one of these guys who has figured it out, the real power stroke a little bit later. I think he's a middle-of-the-order hitter for a contending team. Now, the question is he enough? I think they need to add another bat if they're going to run with Toronto, who's pretty darn good, which I think we just saw in the postseason. Boston's getting better, and the Yankees always have the resources to remain good. So I think they need another hitter, and then they have to, of course, go get another pitcher.
So let me bring that hitter aspect up, because the name that continues to be tied, and I don't like asking you about other people's reports, but I keep hearing people connect the Orioles to Kyle Tucker, and I understand the Mike Elias connection, but as you would understand, Tim, given the history of the Orioles and spending, until I see it, I'm always going to assume otherwise. Whether it's Tucker or not, where are you at with the idea that the Orioles might be truly changing their thought process in terms of spending money this offseason?
Yeah, I think they have to change their process, because when you have 3 really good years like they had in a row, and then you fall as quickly as you did last year, and as I said, the division is only getting stronger from here. You can't afford to just sit back for another year, because I think there are 3 teams in the division definitely better than the Orioles right now. So therefore, Kyle Tucker makes all the sense in the world, not just because he can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he's a well above average defender. He can run. He's young. It's going to cost a fortune to get him, and they have to ask, is he worth that much? But if they're gonna run with the Blue Jays and the Yankees and the Red Sox in the next few years, I think they're gonna have to start to spend more now, which of course is easy for me to say. I'm not the owner of the team, but logically you have to think that way.
He is Tim Kurkjian, of course, from ESPN, and the host of Is This a Great Game or What? He's with us here on GCR. Tim, you bring up okay, so let's just say they spend all that money on Kyle Tucker. Well, then do they have money left to spend on pitching? And I think this is the kind of conundrum that we find ourselves in. Are they going to swim in the deepest end of the free agent pitching waters? Do you think it's more practical that they try to address pitching via trade the way that maybe they did with Corbin Burns a couple years ago, and a lot of people talking about perhaps like the guys in Minnesota maybe being available via trade this offseason?
Yeah, well, Lopez with the Twins would be a really nice addition to the Orioles or to any team. Now, I'm not positive he's going to move, but he's really good. And yes, sometimes a trade is the better way to go, but let's face it, they've traded some of their young kids. I'm not sure they're in the same position to make a trade, so logically, why not just sign Dylan Cease or Framber Valdez or Ranger Suarez? Again, it's easy to say, why don't they just do that? Well, every other team wants those guys also.
Right.
So the competition is fierce, and if they really make a run at it and get one of those hitters or one of those pitchers, I think that will be a really good step forward. But I repeat, if they're going to be the team that can win the division next year, they got to go get a premium hitter and a premium pitcher for the top of the rotation.
Tim, the Orioles, I think, surprised a lot of people when they decided to tender a contract to Ryan Mountcastle last Friday. And I think a lot of us had kind of figured that they probably were going to choose to move on given his continuous downtick. And I wondered if that might be an insurance policy for the idea that maybe they view Kobe Mayo as perhaps their most valuable commodity in a trade at this point. And I'm not trying to write off Kobe Mayo because, he's only played a little bit at the major league level, and I think most everyone around baseball still believes he has that power bat. But do you think it's possible that the two things might be connected, the idea of tendering a contract to a disappointing Ryan Mountcastle, and maybe that's because they are considering the possibility of trading Kobe Mayo to try to acquire a pitcher.
Yes, that certainly makes sense. Ryan Mountcastle had a down year, but he's still a major league player. He's got big-time power when he's right, and they have to hope that he finds that again. And when you talk about, spending money, sometimes you just have to spend money on an extra year to see if a guy is going to find it, because he's been a pretty good player over the years. He just had a down year. So I think they're doing the right thing here by offering him a contract, but maybe it's exactly the way that you say, that Kobe Mayo is the guy that's going to get him that frontline starting pitcher.
And it feels like he's the guy that has the most value right now of any of that group that isn't already here and obviously isn't already entrenched and guaranteed a spot. Do you feel like they're going to be? I think a lot of us were hoping that maybe there was going to be like a Suarez brothers situation in Baltimore with Robert Suarez, but now they're not even bringing back Albert. They didn't tender him a contract, so I don't know if that's the answer. What does your gut tell you about the closer market? As obviously the Orioles need to find someone with experience with Felix Bautista's sideline.
Right. Well, there's some closers out there. Edwin Diaz is out there. A few others are out there. But again, they come at a really expensive rate. I mean, even though relief pitching is still exceptionally important these days, given how little we use our starting pitchers. So, the Orioles have to add a back of the bullpen guy who they are relatively certain is going to get 3 outs in the 9th inning. And that guy is not easy to find. The things they're looking for are not easy to find, and if you do find them, they're going to be exceptionally expensive.
Yeah, it'd be nice if what they were looking for was like a nice middle reliever, right? Like that's the market that you want to be in. That's where you want the difference to be when you're trying to close the gap. Tim, it feels like, there's been, you and I talked this past season about where Mike Elias is. Mike Elias was sort of secretly promoted within the organization, where a lot of us were talking about whether or not perhaps Mike Elias's job was in jeopardy. Do you feel like this season that spotlight is fully on Mike Elias at this point, or do you feel like he's simply entrenched in the faith that David Rubenstein and that group has in him, that they're not judging him year to year by results?
I think he's got more than this year to prove things, but there has to be significant progress shown this year if they're going to feel really good moving forward for several more years. Again, that was a dramatic fall, and I repeat, they are behind the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are not going away, not with the way that they play the game. The Red Sox young guys are getting a little older and a lot better. And again, the Yankees have every resource it takes to say, all right, we're going back to the World Series. They'll do whatever they need to do. So I think Mike Elias, I'm not going to say he's under the gun, but I think the microscope is a little bit brighter on him just because of what happened last year. When something that stunning happens that nobody saw coming, sure, it almost always goes on the GM, especially when you replace the manager and go from there.
Is the feeling around baseball that that core group of talent is still desirable? It is still the group that you want, that you can count on? Like I feel like it's so much of the story as to what happens this season, Tim. For as much as we talk about whatever they're going to still do this offseason, and it is important, it still feels like none of this works if you don't get better versions of Adley Rutschman and even Gunnar, who we still think is a very high-level player, but certainly wasn't an MVP caliber player a year ago, and Jackson Holliday and a healthy Jordan Westberg. Like, is there still faith that this group is that group and that they can do it at this point?
Yes, I think there still should be faith. I think Jackson Holliday showed us last year that the best is yet to come. He made a major step forward, at least in the games or the things that I saw. Gunnar Henderson's a great player, and he just didn't have a great year. But when you're that big and you're that young and you're that driven, he's going to figure out exactly why he wasn't an MVP candidate last year. So I think and Jordan Westberg is just a grinder, dirt dog, baseball lifer. I love the way he plays the game. So as long as he stays healthy, I think he'll produce. Adley Rutschman is still the guy that I'm still a little bit confused about, because we all know, second half of 2024, what happened. I expected a completely different Adley Rutschman at the plate in 2025, and it didn't happen. And injuries were a big reason why. And again, this is the hardest game in the world to play, and I'm giving all sorts of people another chance and another chance to figure it out. Because when you're facing this kind of stuff every day and something is off, just a tick here and there, you go from a really good player to a very average player very quickly. That's how the stuff changes hitters today. But I expect him to have a bounce-back year and be really good again. But those four aren't going to be enough to carry this team. I still think they need another hitter, a Kyle Tucker type who can add to the middle of the order.
Oh, I agree. And last thought, Tim, would be I brought it up with Mike Elias. He was dismissive of it. And look, we all know that catchers are who becomes managers. But a lot was made about the work that Craig Albernaz had done with Naylor in Cleveland. Do you feel like maybe there's a thought within the Orioles that, like, Craig Albernaz is here in part because we need someone that can be almost an Adley Rutschman whisperer? Like, we need someone that can – we got to fix this guy somehow.
Yeah, and yes, familiarity really matters in baseball, and I'm a big believer that when a manager has had a guy before and he knows the button to push on that guy to get the best out of him, I believe in that stuff. But the Orioles have two catchers right now. They don't need to go get another catcher
no doubt,
to see if they got the right people. So I think they hang on to what they have. They hope that Adley finds whatever he lost a year and a half ago. I think he will. And but Naylor in Cleveland is a good player, and with familiarity, wouldn't be surprised if down the line something happens, but I don't see that happening this year.
Is this a great game or what? You want to remind everybody about what they're missing?
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. It's my son Jeff and I. We do a podcast. We laugh and we learn. No heavy lifting. No, we're not breaking any stories. No hot takes. But we hopefully we teach people a few things. We get some great interviews. We've had some incredible people on in the last couple of years. Cal Ripken a couple times, Jim Palmer, and those guys are right up my alley. And we're not asking Cal Ripken about the streak because he's talked about that a million times. We asked him last time he dunked a basketball. Now he's engaged. So that's how we're doing things on our podcast. It's been a dream of a lifetime for old Pop-Pop here to get to work with his son on a really fun project.
He told me recently he stopped playing altogether. As someone who went up against him, do you actually believe that?
I believe that because I know Cal Ripken exceptionally well, and if he can't excel at
then
something,
he's not. Yeah,
he's not going to do it. And on my tiny level, I understand exactly what he's talking about. When you've reached a certain level, he was a great pickup basketball player, not a good one. He turned himself into a great one, and if he can't do that anymore, I think he'd rather go try something else. Which whatever he tries, he's going to be good at because that's him.
That is the way it works. GreatGamerWhat.com, of course, is the website to find the show. Tim Kurkjian, always appreciate you, sir. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us today.
My pleasure, Glenn. Thank you.
Tim Kurkjian from a little bit earlier on. We will come back in and get a tidbit and tubular to wrap things up. Oh, and an update on Baker Mayfield. Got that. That's next. Glenn Clark Radio.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live-action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners. But only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
Adam Schefter says, pre-MRI, the Buccaneers believe Baker Mayfield suffered a sprained AC joint in his left shoulder, per sources. There was no fracture and no structural damage. One source said the Buccaneers, quote, are not ruling out, unquote, Mayfield for Sunday's game versus the Cardinals, but today's MRI will tell more. So that would obviously be very good news for the Buccaneers, although they have been struggling on the whole with or without Baker Mayfield of late. All right, winding down for a Monday edition of the program. Talking S, John Little Rock taking shots at Paul Valley. His rightful position as our power bottom. Better be careful. We're all only 5 games clear of him. Another week like I had last week, and I might be right back down at the bottom. Might be the case. Of course, only 2 more weeks left of full college picks for us to do. As this is the upcoming final week of the dude, that is depressing. The final week of the college regular season, and then
we still got that. We got championship week,
but still a big week
Army,
for Griffin
Navy.
because he still can cash that over 4.5.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Can't believe it.
God, it's unreal, man.
I mean, yeah, it means nothing.
Oh, you know what I didn't bring
But
up?
it's
There
like-
was a really special moment. We were doing all the stuff before the game. Len Elmore came to the game on Saturday, and I hadn't seen Len in a really long time, so we're chatting for a minute, and then it just strikes me. I'm like, have you ever met Sean Merriman? He's like, no. I said, look at this. And so I got an amazing picture of Sean Merriman and Len Elmore, 2 like legitimate Maryland legends. Len Elmore was a living legend in general. Sean Merriman, one of the greatest athletes in Maryland history. It was a really cool moment for me. You have to go back a little ways in order to find it.
That's too much.
Okay, ease up over there. Maybe settle down, you. I posted it. I posted it with there it is. Look at that. There's Len Elmore and Sean Merriman, 2 of the greatest athletes in University of Maryland history, and they had never met each other before Saturday. And Len sent me a text afterwards. He was like, that was a real pleasure. I was like, that's cool, man. So yeah, that was a really neat moment on Saturday. Again, the football was not, but everything else was wonderful. All right. tidbit brought to you today by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour, which returns later on today. Stan, Luke, and Andy Kostka of the Baltimore Banner are going to get together to talk about the Orioles. That's at 5 o'clock, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. It's brought to you by the Costas Inn and the all-new Costas Inn in Timonium.
We were talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. Well, at least off air, Glenn and I were talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. He finished the game. Well, I don't know what his exact numbers were, but he finished with over 200 yards.
I'm going to beat Steve Johnson this week in Ryan
single-handedly,
Reagan's
just
league.
because.
Yeah, I swear to God, like I wanted to talk S. Because Steve's a talker, so I wanted to talk S, and then I looked at it when I saw that I won it, and it was all Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs got me 55 points. And Caleb Williams got me 20, and nobody else on the team got 9. Like, it was entirely Jahmyr Gibbs.
I think that's just the point of fantasy football, though. You can still talk. Win's a win. I had the matchup I was telling you about. I was because I had JSN in the first window, and we get like bonuses as well in this league. So I was way up, and I started
broke
talking
the
smack.
Seahawks franchise receiving record yesterday
In 11 games.
There's correct. There's still 6 games to play.
The single season, for the receiving record in Seahawks history, and he's at like 1,300 yards or something already. Yeah. It is insane. Jahmyr Gibbs also insane. Over 200 rushing yards. He had 3 touchdowns and also 11 catches. Only one other player in the history of the NFL has had a game in which they rushed for 200 yards, had 3 touchdowns, and made 10 catches as well.
There's only one other player.
Yes.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
No.
Danian Tomlin.
LT in 2002.
I should have guessed him first.
Last time, the only other time that's happened, Jahmyr Gibbs and LaDainian Tomlinson now. Do you know where Rodney Rice transferred to?
USC.
Yes. He became the second Trojan ever to record a triple-double last week.
Who was the first? Is that what you're going to ask me?
No
O.J. Mayo?
No. You're never going to get the first. Oh, I had it down.
Cheryl Miller? I don't even know if I can name that many more USC basketball players. Hold on,
I just got to look it up because I looked it up and I forgot to write it down. Daniel Hackett.
Oh, yeah, I definitely was. I was going to come up with Harold Miner, maybe, would be the only other one that I was
in 2007, Daniel Hackett did. But yeah, Rodney Rice, the second triple-double in the second.
Because Bronny technically played at USC, right?
Yeah. He did not have a triple-double in his days there. But
He's
yeah, Rodney
very
Rice doing pretty well with the Trojans. So I guess we'll see him at some point this season. And then obviously we're talking about it all over the broadcast.
They had somebody else hit a buzzer beater last week to beat Troy. They needed a buzzer. Like Maryland needed heroics to beat Mount St. Mary's. They needed it. Was, I think, double overtime. They needed a buzzer beater.
Jeez. And we were talking about it on the broadcast. Obviously, the guys that Derrick Henry has passed. He's now 12th all time.
Yeah.
How many of the top 10? Well, you should be able to name all of them. The top 10
all-time leading rushers?
Yes.
Yeah, this shouldn't be all that hard. Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith is number 1.
2 is Walter Payton, right?
Correct.
Number
Number 3 finished with exactly 16,000 yards.
3 is Adrian Peterson.
No, AP is 5th.
3 is Barry Sanders.
Nope, he's 4th.
And he would have been number 1 with a bullet if he didn't just say, I'm good. That's because 3 is Eric Dickerson.
No, he's 9th. He's way down at the bottom. Way down towards the end of this list.
That's because 3 is Frank Gore.
Frank Gore, 16,000 rushing yards in his career. Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Frank Gore, Barry Sanders, AP, the top 5.
Number 6. 6 is LaDainian Tomlinson.
7th.
Because 6 is Jim Brown.
No, he's Jim Brown. Jim Brown's 11th, who Henry's going to pass. Yeah, and about 19 yards on Thursday, and then he will pass Jim Brown.
That's because 6 is. I said Marcus Allen.
You did not say Marcus Allen?
Marcus Allen.
15th.
Because it's Curtis Martin.
Curtis Martin is 6th. 14,100 yards for Curtis Martin. And, yeah, I mean, again, another shorter-ish career, I guess.
Thurman Thomas.
No Thurman Thomas. 17th.
Tony Dorsett.
He's 10th. So
Okay.
that'll count. Tony Dorsett's. He would be.
You say that counts.
Yeah.
Like,
Henry's.
hey, I'm thinking I'm going to let that one count, you know?
Henry's about
for you.
400, looks like 440
Asshole.
yards from
Marshall
passing
Faulk.
Tony Dorsett. No Marshall Faulk.
Edrin James.
Falk is 13th. Edge is 14th. These are all the guys he passed
Jesus
yesterday.
Christ. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Falk, Edge, Marcus Allen all passed yesterday.
Jerome Bettis.
Jerome Bettis is 8th. There you go. Rounds out the top 10 for you.
Eventually.
Yeah. So you ended up naming all but one in the top 17.
Who am I missing?
Yeah.
Gale Sayers.
Not Gale Sayers. These would be the 17 men that have over 12,000 rushing yards as well. So.
Riggo. John Riggins.
No. Riggins was 11,003.
Franco Harris.
Franco Harris had 12,000 rushing yards.
Got it there. Got it. Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. Tubular is brought to you by the print issue of Press Box. It's still available for another couple of weeks before it makes way for our annual Best of issue. It's got Maryland AD Jim Smith on the cover. Go get it right now at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores and anywhere you find Press Box around town, pressboxonline.com/find. It's always free, and you can read it for free as well at pressboxonline.com. Right now, Towson leading Rhode Island 51-45 with 5 minutes to play in the second half. You can watch that from the ESPN Events Invitational on ESPN2. Maryland kicks off their action at the Players Era Festival from Vegas tonight at 11:59.
Booyah.
It probably won't start then, but they call it that so it can officially be listed as a game that was played today instead of being listed as a game that was played tomorrow. That's the reason why they say 11:59 for those things. Big day, obviously. Basketball all over the place. The
Feast Week.
Players Era Festival is where most of the big teams are. Tennessee Rutgers at 1 on TNT. Notre Dame Kansas 3:30. Syracuse Houston at 6. Gonzaga Alabama is a big one at 9:30. And then on True TV, Creighton Baylor at 2. St. John's Iowa State 4:30. Oregon Auburn at 8. San Diego State Michigan at 10:30. Everything else, like the Maui Invitation, all that, go glennclarkradio.com. UMBC's at home tonight at 6 against Notre Dame of Maryland on ESPN+. Of course,
be a good one.
Panthers, and I don't know. Panthers 49ers 8:15 on ESPN, and for some reason there's a Manning cast on ESPN too. Even though it's a holiday week, I would have thought those boys would have taken that week off.
Well, it's not on ABC.
Look how hard they're working.
Because what's on ABC at 8 o'clock tonight is Truth and Lies. Because do you know who killed JFK?
You know what? I think I do.
Nope. No, you don't. Apparently somebody else.
I don't know. Somebody. I guess the anniversary was Friday. I think it was.
Yeah, was it the 21st
or Saturday? One of those 2 days.
Yeah.
And someone linked me to a video that was a YouTube video that was like the day-long coverage of CBS of the day, and I don't know why, but
like from 1960.
Yeah, maybe it was on the drive down to College Park. Like I was invested. It's wild because we make fun of like news coverage now, but like the number of things they were like, well, there's some reports out there. They're not confirmed. Like they were doing that on Walter Cronkite was saying that. Like this person's saying he heard that John Kennedy. Somebody who works in the hospital says he heard that John Kennedy is alive.
Oh, okay.
And like it was wild because we like make fun of that all the time now. But like they were doing it openly. Now this is in the 1960s. So I did spend some time with that. Everything else, glennclarkradio.com.
Well, no, everybody loves Raymond 30th anniversary celebration tonight on CBS. So
And everybody loves Raymond. CBS sitcoms have just never done it for me.
The final season of Bel Air as well on Pico.
Can't miss that.
Yeah.
Can't miss that. All right. Thanks today to Tim Kurkjian. Thanks also to Dan Wilcox. We'll get that up in the greatest hits section of the
Daniel Radcliffe, Taryn Killam on Seth Meyers.
Tab at glennclarkradio.com. Tomorrow on the program, the regular Tuesday stuff, Joe Serpico, Patrick Stevens, Bo Smolka. No, not Patrick. Patrick's Wednesday. Joe Serpico, Bo Smolka, Stuff and Things. Thanks, everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, Game Day Men's Health, 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com, Nick's Fish House, your Baltimore area High's Dairy Stores, the Costas Inn, Live Casino and Hotel, and more. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go Towson, go UMBC, go Maryland. Duke sucks.